And hello, movie lovers. I have actually Zach and Landon from Wildfire. They're here with me. We're going to be doing a short review of Big Trouble in Little China. And then after that, we're going to be talking about their new album that's going to be dropping pretty soon, which I'm very excited to actually have them on here. Also, too, this is actually Zach's second time being on here. He was actually my first or second interview that I had whenever I was first starting off the podcast. So it's actually good to have him back. So let's go ahead. Let's do this. Right. And hey, guys, how you guys been doing?
Hey, how's it going, John?
It's going
How are
great,
you?
man. I'm doing great. So I just want to say it's an honor to have you guys on here. I'm a huge fan of you, what you guys are doing. Of course, I love the new sound from the new from the new song "Big Trouble." But yeah, I can't wait to dive into doing the interview with you guys in a few minutes and just asking you guys some questions about what inspired you with this album. Of course, I have a feeling that it's incorporated with Big Trouble in Little China for some reason, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So, anyways, I'm just going to go on ahead and do my nerdum real quick. So, Big Trouble in Little China, it actually stars, of course, Kurt Russell, Kim Cattrall, Dennis Dunn, and James Hong. And also, too, this also had a budget of $19 to $25 million. It made $11.1 million, which also makes it a cult classic because it didn't start resonating until like later on that this is actually everybody's favorite movie. And then people started getting the buzz of just wanting to watch this movie whenever they have a chance. So, with that being said, basically, we wind up having Kurt Russell. He's a truck driver, and he's trying to drive his friend to pick up his girlfriend at this airport. And then that's when they wind up running into some trouble. So, Zach, when you look at this film, and also Landon, what do you think of it whenever you first start out with this?
I thought it was amazing. I mean, it goes through so many things. There's like, uh, it's in Chinatown. It's underground. There's monsters. There's Japanese folklore and kung fu, and it's got a little of everything. And it's intentionally a comedy. Comedy, thank God, because I was laughing like the whole time. What'd
Same
you
here
think?
as well.
Yeah, it's kind of like the epitome of like an 80s movie, like
Yeah.
those whether they were intentional or not throughout the entire movie, those portrait shots of the faces when they're flexing, you know what I mean? It just kind of like yeah, just
Right.
But it's just it's ridiculous. But that like adds to its charm, It's that's what's so great about it. It's Kurt Russell's over the top always, and that's probably my favorite thing about him. And so that's not a knock to it at all. I love it.
Same
But
here as well. I mean, especially when you look at John Carpenter's movies and stuff like that, it's perfect 80s cheese, to be honest with you.
yeah,
And like you said, when you have that flex going, and then of course, this actually knows the audience that it's trying to hit, and it actually knows its audience. It's not a misidentification of who it's looking for. Because some movies today is like a misidentification, and they
right.
want it to be something that it's not. And this one actually knows what it wants to be. And here's the thing: I love Kurt Russell. I thought he does a pretty good job. And then my favorite thing that he actually says is, you know what old Jack Burton says? What the hell? That's actually
I commented on that. Yeah, I said that's the big line. That what the hell? One of my favorite scenes in the movie when he like grabs a pistol and he goes bang 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 and he shoots a hole in the ceiling and then the cinder block falls on him and he passes out. It's like it's his moment to be a hero, and that's what happens.
that's what I like about it though is too. You have this hero who's imperfect, and he tries to play off like he's a badass, but really he's a klutz at the
Right.
same time. So I definitely like how they play off that, and then also too, like you said, you have the kung fu fighting, you have all that stuff going on, and then I like the back and forth between him and Wang. I thought that was always a good. The chemistry between them were really good, to be honest.
To be honest, the story was very. It might have been a little too cheesy for my taste. Some of the plot, points that are happening.
True.
I enjoyed the cinematography of it, the comedy of it, the situational humor involved in it. a lot more, and I think the story could have been better.
Yeah, it could have been sharper a little bit.
And he's got to marry a girl with green eyes, like, and then say he finds two, and so they're kind of making it sound like this rare thing to just happen upon a girl with green eyes, and then now there's another one. So it's like it's kind of took the rarity away from it for me. We should probably start at the beginning of the movie then.
Yeah, we can start at the beginning, man. I just like to jump around a little bit sometimes, but yeah, we can totally do that. But of course, we wind up seeing, basically, we wind up seeing Kurt Russell. He winds up making a bet with Wang, and then of course he winds up having to take him over to the airport, and then that's when we run into that whole entire situation, the way it goes down. And
let's talk about how confident Wang is. He's gonna cut that bottle in half. I've never seen that before ever. So, what was he thinking? He must have just really needed a ride to the airport.
Or he was just overly confident. It's like, you know what? This guy looks like a total badass, so I'm going to try to outshine this badass and show him what I can really do, which is nothing. But I'm still going to try and outweigh him, basically, and try and measure him up in a sense. So he's overly confident, and then whenever he tries to break that bottle, it just goes flying. And, even whenever Wayne goes on ahead and tries to pick up his girlfriend and everything, he's still confident. Even though that he's actually this shy kind of person, also kind of timid, though, too.
He's kind of not. And the movie kind of shows you that the whole, for a long time until the moment where Kurt Russell's on the ground. Or what is it? He turns around to go find he dropped his knife. That's what it is. He's going to pull it out of his boot, and he slings it across the room. And then, so when he comes back, Wang has defeated all the rest of the henchmen. I don't even remember what we call them in the movie.
I just call them henchmen. That's more. That actually makes more sense. But Landon, what about you though, man? What's some of your favorite stuff that stood out for you?
Honestly, like the special effects, some of it was like almost good, but everything was like over the top and kind of carried that sort of, like you were talking about, this movie really had like an identity and knew its audience. I feel like those special effects moments kind of help sell, kind of what's going on in the scene and just that style. So the special effects were some of my favorite, and then also the characters, the floating eye. I can't remember his name. That floating eye dude, and then the werewolf gorilla creature, whatever that was.
It's like they just stopped what they were doing to celebrate this wedding that's going to be taking place. It's like, okay, we don't care about Kurt Russell and them coming in to trying to stop the wedding. They're all there for the wedding, which makes it hilarious.
Yeah.
But another thing though too is going ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say I love that. I really felt like I was in Kurt Russell's shoes when he gets in Chinatown through all these back alleys and then he loses his truck. That's exactly what would happen where are you even at? You don't even know where you drive through all these turns in the middle of Chinatown and get deep into the heart of it, and then you have to run away and you lose your truck. That's the whole movie's getting his truck back. That's the synopsis. Like, that's what he really cares about in the end.
Right. All he cares about is getting his truck back and everything, and that's it. He doesn't really care about anything that's going on around him up until the girl gets kidnapped, and he's like, oh, okay, so I guess I'll go on ahead and go on this side quest and get my truck back later. But another thing, too, is Jack and Wang also track the Lords of Death to Chinatown, and they find the funeral procession that erupts into the battle between the Chang Sing and Wing Wong. That's also
that loses the truck.
Right. And that scene was so hilarious, though, how he actually forgets where he actually parks the thing because all the alleys look the same. And then he's also blinded by that giant light that he has, though, too. And I like how you see Wang, he goes over there and just splashes water on him, like that's going to help him, which is hilarious. And he goes, did that help? Yeah, it helped. I'm like, what? How did that help? That wouldn't even help me if I got blinded by that huge light, to be honest.
This is about the time that I was watching the movie and I thought, is this a Western? And so it is a Western.
Mhm.
And we did a little bit, I did some research. I paused it and just was like curious to look up about the film. And it was originally written to be an 1800s set Western in San Francisco, but they
Right.
felt like I wouldn't connect with the audience. So there was a rewrite that happened to, put it more in a now time, which I guess it's not now anymore, but for the time it was now, so that audiences can connect with it better. But there's little things that you see all through the movie that are like, oh, that's spilling over from when it was written to be a Western. Like he says, reach for the sky. It's like, that sounds like it's in a Western movie. There's just so many lines like that.
I think
Not only
it was
that.
Dirty
Oh.
reference.
There was a Dirty Harry
Yeah,
reference.
it was towards the end. That guy, he pulled out a pistol, like a big revolver or whatever. And I think mentioned Dirty Harry or something like that.
That's what makes it so hilarious, though, is because it was originally gonna make sense in this Western, setting in the 1800s, and they're like, no, let's just keep the lines the same. The whole story is the same, but let's just do it in a modern day setting instead. Actually, didn't catch is it in New York in this movie?
It's in it looks like LA. It looks like California.
Okay, might be LA, yeah.
But
yeah, they just moved it from San Francisco to LA.
LA, right.
That's more Western, right?
Right. It's Western, it's just on the But the thing that makes me laugh, though, is like Landon was saying, was the whole entire thing with the Dirty Harry gun and stuff like that, too. That was actually pretty funny. And then, of course, this is actually cheesy. I mean, whenever you look at the whole entire deal, when you see Kurt Russell said, reach for the sky, this is actually a Kurt Russell type of film because of the fact that he can pull off that cheesiness so well, especially when he plays Snake Plissken and everything too. So you have a perfect blend of Kurt Russell that can actually pull that off. Not many people can pull off a modern day Western type film mixed with Chinese representation, to be honest.
It's up there in my favorites, though. After watching it, I think that was the first time I've ever seen it. Just watching it to talk about it with you on this podcast. So, and I've been a Kurt Russell fan for a long time. He's in that Tarantino movie Death Proof. I love that one.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's so good in that he's not good. I don't know how to put my finger on it. Is that good acting or bad acting?
It depends on how you look at it, though. I mean, with Tarantino, it could be either good or it can be bad, depending on what Tarantino's trying to do. Because Quentin Tarantino is a great director if he's writing a certain film. With Death Proof, it didn't get that much love back in 2007. I remember when it first came out and stuff like that. But if you look at it now in its context, it's basically kind of like this film, where it's over-the-top cheesiness for the modern-day era of 2007. This is actually the modern-day era of 1986.
I feel like they're like kind of related films a lot. It'd be cool. I kind of wish his name was the same, in Death Proof, so that it was a sequel.
That'd be great.
But they are the most they are very similar films. I can't think of anything else that stands with them the same. In exactly how they're cheesy and over the top and great because of all of these choices.
Exactly. And then also too, we also have when Wang takes Jack to the restaurant where he meets with Gracie and her journalist friend Margot, Wang's friend Eddie Lee, and magician Egg Shin, a local authority on the mysticism and Lo Pan. And that's when they explained to Jack about who only wants his truck. Well, I have that in parentheses because of the fact of my notes. But it basically only wants his truck back, and he's on the payphone the whole entire time. He goes, "Hey, this is so and so. Oh, hi, nice to meet you. Look, I need my truck back and everything. Is it still under insurance? Look, you need to go in and check this thing out because I don't want to be responsible for losing my truck." So, so I thought that was actually pretty cool. But even that Chinese restaurant scene, though, where he's actually at, looks like a country western kind of atmosphere, though, in a sense, because the way it is actually designed.
Yeah. It's like a live action Double Dragon or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It reminds me of all that, 80s video game era, but live action comedy ridiculousness.
Exactly. I thought I was the only one who was thinking Double Dragon whenever I was.
That too?
Yeah, I was actually here's the thing. I saw this movie maybe 4 or 5 times in my life, but this time I really sat there and I'm like, you know what? This is actually closest to the Double Dragon that you can get before the Double Dragon movie actually came out. And I remember there's this other, basically on the NES, there's like they're basically blockheads if you think about it. And you're fighting on top of a truck, you're doing all this stuff. And it reminds you so much of Double Dragon and the way they're doing things.
Like I told you though, remember I said I paused it and did some research on the movie a couple times because our friend Daniel, who helped shoot the Big Trouble music video, he commented and said, did they get the ideas for this from Mortal Kombat, some of the characters? And what we found out was no, it's the other way around. Mortal Kombat is drawing influence from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And also I went down like a Mortal Kombat hole and found out that the whole concept of Mortal Kombat was originally based on Jean-Claude Van Damme's character. They had and one of the Mortal Kombat characters is based on Jean-Claude Van Damme. One of them is Bruce Willis.
Mm-hmm.
There was I can't remember the other ones off the top of my head. Yeah. But it
was like a cross between Bruce Willis, pretty much 80s superstars at that time, 80s actors.
Exactly.
So,
but I never made the connection, which makes the game even more interesting.
And the movie, too.
And the movie, yeah. It's like, they should have just got the characters they were based off of. 6 of them were based on real people.
Yeah.
But I don't think they casted a single one of them.
No. But, there's actually a Netflix documentary with about video games and stuff, and I remember hearing about that from Mortal Kombat. Yeah, High Score was the biography that I watched, the documentary, which I thought was really fascinating with that. I ate that up. I'm a huge documentary fan when it comes down to certain things. But then, of course, after we wind up having that happen, then the Chinese brought the group and everything too to Jack and Wang, track down the front business, use Lo Pan and pretty much infiltrate telephone repairman to gain access, but are quickly subdued by Rain after being tied up and beaten by Thunder. The two meet Lo Pan, however, he now appears to be crippled old man.
Right. I remember thinking that's the same guy. What were you thinking?
Which part?
When after he is Lo Pan and then you see him as an old man in a wheelchair, same character.
Oh, is that where they do that transition where he's like the older guy and his younger self? Yeah. Whoa.
No, it's like maybe you missed that part of the movie.
Maybe I did.
No, he's the same person in the same timeline. He's just like when he becomes magic, he's
young.
Is that maybe I missed it? Maybe I'm confused.
Well, I kind of picked up on Shang Tsung pretty much with the shape shifting stuff with him.
Well,
because
Lo Pan's trying to get married so that he can become a solid human, a
solid human.
But I thought the old man was him.
Yeah, the old man is him.
So how is he not a human? Why does he need a sacrifice? Why does he need to marry? I didn't even catch this part until just now. Why does he need to marry a green-eyed girl to become a human if he appears that he already is when he's that
Maybe
old man.
maybe his shape shifting can only allow him so many hours or something. Maybe to the point where
I guess that Lopan himself can become, because he doesn't have the same powers in the old man body, right? So I think that's
Right.
what it must be. Is that yeah? So if he marries the green-eyed girl, he can be Lopan with the powers and everything in human form.
right. But
Okay, I had to work that out live real fast. I'm like, wait
it's
a
okay. I'm
minute.
glad you worked through it, man. That's why I'm here. But you know, this movie is it makes you think though, because there are certain things within this film that makes you think, and a certain aspect to it behind the cheesiness of it, because you're questioning certain motives within this film though too. Because like you, I was like, okay, why is he old and then can be transformed back into being young again? I'm like, this does not make sense on what they're doing, but we're so invested into the plot, into Jack, that we don't care, and we're just sucked into the action part of it.
Yeah, I'm just waiting on Jack's next line. He had every line was a one-liner.
Yeah.
Every line of the whole movie was like a quote.
Yeah, I was born ready.
I was born ready. But then there's also this other one too, though. Just remember what old Jack does when earthquakes and the poison arrows falls from the sky and the pillar of heaven will shake. Yeah, Jack Burton just looks that big old storm right square in the eye and says, "Give me the best shot, pal. I can take it."
His voice is so commanding too, you know.
Right? He's so serious with it. Like he doesn't laugh.
He's got a lot of tact, I'll say. He's
Definitely.
bearing. Sorry, he's got a lot of bearing to be able to pull off this shit without laughing. I mean, I couldn't have done that.
I think he did a great job. It was funny and awkward at times, but it wasn't. To me, it never particularly felt like it was definitely over the top, but not too far over the top as far as Kurt Russell's dialogue
Right.
in the movie.
No, because even in Roddy Piper's movie, They Live, there was some cheesiness to it, but even those one-liners were great. But there, beneath the surface of that cheese, there's a whole new level with They Live. Because that was during the Reagan years, and during the Reagan years, you actually had John Carpenter that had some beef with Reagan. So you had some serious moments of the film within itself behind everything. So with this, it's the same kind of thing where, you know, you can laugh and you can also be on this adventure with Kurt Russell, but also too, you can also be invested into the action, the romance of it, and also too with everything else going on in it to where you can actually take the movie maybe a little bit serious, but not enough to actually go on. So that's what I think too.
Overall,
what do you guys think?
10 out of something. I like it.
Yeah, it was good. I think you kind of mentioned some of the romantic aspects of it, and you know, like they're like in that spillway or sewage way, you know, going through the water, and they like pop up, and he like kisses her so like passionately, and then at the end of the movie, she's like, "You're not even going to kiss her goodbye," and he's just like, "No," and just like walks off. It was so, fun.
Well, to be fair, these were all just the things he was doing to get his truck back.
Yeah, so.
Right. Now that he got his truck back, that's it. He doesn't need the girl no more. He's done. But what makes me laugh though is you're in this sewage area, and he has a knife in his mouth. I'm like, dude, what are you?
I love the part when he had what was that guy? The guy comes at him with a sword, and he uses one foot to kick out
the boot knife.
To kick out his boot knife, and the guy just dies on his knife. And then he's stuck. He said, "What is it? Oh shit!" The guy's just dead on top of him on his boot knife, and he's like, "Oh shit! I can't get him off of me." You had to be there.
But this film is actually fun. I didn't know this was your first time watching this film though. That's interesting.
I'm pretty sure I've never seen it before. Yeah.
What about for you, Lynn?
So that would go to segue into I didn't write the song based on the movie.
Okay.
Actually, though I wish I would have. Maybe I would have put some of those one-liners in there somewhere. What would have been a good one for this?
I can see you going.
Yeah.
That's I think my favorite line in the whole movie.
So my question is this: with this album, what makes this one stand out from the other album that you had out?
Well, so at the moment we are not actually putting out an album. We're changing our format. We don't want our fans to wait as long in between releases. So instead of putting a big collection that arguably always gets a little rushed, as because we're trying to do 10 or 15 or 16 songs. It's so what we find is that we don't put as much attention into all the songs, and so what we want to do instead, we've changed our format. We're gonna do one song at a time, and after that, we're gonna shoot a music video. We're gonna create the artwork. We're gonna put it online as a single. We're gonna sell the T-shirt that goes with it, and we're gonna let it breathe for a few months. And we're gonna do playthroughs and lyric videos sometimes, and other content, behind the scenes footage of that single and everything that went into the making of that. And then about 3 months later, we will start the whole process over, promoting another new single. And it does mean that we're going to put out, a few songs a year for right now. But we're fully independent artists, and this is it's difficult for us to come up with, the money for the budget and the marketing. And one thing we've done is we've invested a lot of our time and money into camera equipment, which we were talking about that before we went on air, when we had to swap to our stream cam because our gigantic production is not working today. But we're learning it. We're working the bugs out of it. And so that's the whole deal right now. Is it will be on a record as a collection eventually, but that record may not be out for a couple of years while we continue to pump singles out from it, ultimately until its release. Every song's a single now. There are no more filler tracks.
That's true. That's very true.
Things have changed. So, and how you promote everything has changed. We don't make records as much, anymore. I still sell them at shows because, it's like a souvenir. It's a souvenir is what it is. A fan can get one and get it autographed, take it home, put it on their wall, listen to it, at not as high of quality as you can on YouTube and Spotify, because we can get 24-bit there. So you're really losing in a lot of ways listening on CD. Anything you'd like to add? Sorry.
Yeah, I just think that with this type of approach, it really allows us to give a song a lot of time, because like you mentioned before, with shooting photography and shooting the media stuff and the music videos, it really gives us a time to really dive into the song. Storyboarding for music videos. We get to getting a lot into other creative outlets, going this route and giving a song 3 or 4 months before we get ready to release another one. So,
and we miss out on a lot of opportunities. Marketing, we need to put it out, and this is our whole focus, not an album. One song, one video. I want you to be invested, to want to see the behind the scenes reels, the 10-second clips that we're going to start pumping out, showing from a camera and seeing the behind the scenes of it all being made in a theater downtown Mobile, Alabama, or the things that are shot and done in my basement here. I have a basement.
But you know what, though? I like the idea of you guys just doing one single and letting it breathe, because it gives a chance for people to let it marinate a little bit and let it season a little. to the point where they can actually analyze the lyrics. They can actually memorize the lyrics if they want to sing out with your songs and everything in concert and things like that too. And I like the fact that you can actually have a little bit of a breather for a change instead of having to feel the pressure of, oh my God, I got to come out with 10 songs and then having to market the 10 songs and then rush that out onto digital media for other people to go ahead and do that. And then they're not even fully invested into the album or anything because they might end up skipping a track because they already heard the track already. So like, okay, well, why do I need to go on ahead hear the single when I already heard the single? So I'm going to go on ahead check out the rest of the track listings.
Exactly. And so we limit this, and it helps us in a lot of ways. We are always pulling one new song into our live show and one old song out. And so that's the new, it's a consistent thing. People talk about the album cycle. It's like a 2 to 3 year cycle where you make a record and then you put it out and you promote it and you go on tour. And then, all that takes all this time, rinse, repeat. And we're saying, well, we want to tour and play shows and get back at that. But at the same time, we want this always on our radar. There's something new. Because if you think about it like this, would you rather your one of your favorite bands or any band, would you rather them put out an 8-song record every 2 years or just give you a song every quarter?
I'd rather every quarter.
Like clockwork, you get used to it, and then you jam that one until you wear it out. Now I got you a new one. And then and then depending on how much you love it, you still listen to it for the next 10, 20, 30 years. And give me millions of streams that I get paid for so that I can buy more equipment and make more songs. This, everything that we make off of Spotify and everything is all reinvested straight back into our home studio here.
Absolutely.
So and our home studio is not just audio production, it's video production, photography. We haven't been unveiling all the capabilities of our studio yet to people as we're just now relaunching the band, but we have all kinds of things planned and coming up. And we're kind of working that format out and figuring out, okay, every new song, it's got a music video. There's obviously the behind the scenes footage, but what else? We need to do some pictures with the lyrics, from part of the song, put in there and make that a post and put it on Instagram and Twitter. And so we're figuring out all that stuff as we're relaunching the band, because I've been off social media for a long time. Yeah. I don't know about you. Well, yeah, dude. You haven't been on social media. Very active. Not like you, John. We're not doing podcasts like every day.
Right. Monday through Friday. I don't do weekends anymore. I used to do weekends, but I have a fiance and everything too, so I try to gear towards everything with her and stuff like that. So thank you. Appreciate that, guys. And I know that you also have a baby now, though, too, Zach. I know that you have a child of your own since the last time we talked. Congratulations on that. I never got to tell you face to face, so I just want to tell you congratulations on that. But yeah, I can actually relate to that though, especially with the stuff with Spotify and marketing and stuff like that. Okay. Because even with me, I try to look out for sponsors that are good for my channel, and everything that I get from that is being invested into the podcast, or it could be invested into somewhere else that I know that could actually be used. So, matter of fact, my main goal is to actually pay my co-host and take care of them first before I take care of myself. Okay, so that's the main thing. But I can relate to y'all because of the fact that it takes a lot of energy, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears to do what we're doing, because I'm an indie podcaster. I don't get paid to do what I'm doing. I take a time out of my night to do a show, and hopefully people will like it. If not, hey, it's okay. I still love what I'm doing. I'm still gonna if I have one bad day at the office, I'll just go ahead and shrug that off and go back to doing the same thing the next day. But it's just all about keep on making content and trying to be getting better at making content. Because if you don't learn from one mistake, you're just repeating the same cycle over and over again, hoping that something will change. Because repeating the same thing over again is nothing but chaos.
Right.
And expecting and getting the same result. But I respect what you guys do, though. I mean, I saw you guys out out in concert before. I saw you guys twice. I missed you guys over at when you were at golf at the music festival last time.
Yeah.
But every single chance I get, I try to come out to your show and everything, Joel's shows, and support indie artists, because that's my big thing too. Not only do I support indie directors and stuff like that, but I also support indie music, because people don't realize it's like, okay, why are you going to have indie music guitar players or indie music people? Well, because of the fact music can also be amplified into movies as well.
It's what sets the emotional tone for the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't just get emotions from just pictures of people you don't know alone. Like,
right.
You got to set music to that, and now you're like, okay, yeah, this is it. I mean, I really believe that. Like, movies don't exist without audio, but audio exists without movies.
Right. But, another thing, too, is when you were mentioning, too, with just releasing one track at a time, it also allows you guys not to be burnt out with trying to struggle with anything, though, too.
I don't know about that.
Really? Okay.
I mean, we're trying the best we can, but the truth is we're, like I said, we're fully independent, just like you. We're homegrown. We're underground, whatever you want to call it, wherever you want to place it. That's where we are. And we read the comments on like our YouTube channels, like, oh man, I can't believe this band's not more famous. Like, we can't either. We work on this stuff. No, I'm kidding. But we're doing everything we can, but we are still working jobs to supplement, our incomes with the band and everything. And it's a hard road. I'd love to sit all day, every day, and
focus on music.
Yeah, focus on Wildfire and booking shows, and then I'd love to hire out graphic artists constantly, all these new t-shirt designs, but t-shirt design orders $1,000 and the design costs money, and it's all money and time. And so we are more than ever putting our time towards this. I will say Wildfire went on a hiatus for a couple of years, and it was our guitar player at the time quit, and then from there our bass player, he didn't quit for a while. He just didn't come to rehearsal for like a year.
Oh wow! And
then I was like, okay, man, I think I'm gonna find somebody else then, and it was no harm, we're still great friends. He's got more kids now. We did this together for a long time. And so that I'm talking about Tyler Voss. We're still good friends. And now Landon Alexander is our bass player. And we're really excited about that. And we hope that Tyler will come out and give us the nod of approval at a show here soon. So everybody knows, it's cool. Right. No, and then Cameron came back. I mean, I'm telling you, everybody left, and it was me sitting at home writing Big Trouble. I had a version of the band with our guitar player at the time, Wade Seguin, came in, and COVID happened, and he lived in Baton Rouge, and he didn't feel comfortable driving this way, and I understood, and I knew I had to get to work though. It's like. So I was landscaping. I didn't have to like stop doing anything because I didn't go into contact with anyone. I'm just like by myself cutting grass all day. So when this pandemic hit, I was like, this is a cultural phenomenon. It's like this is going to be a pop culture thing 20 years from now. I'm going to stay home too. Like everyone else is doing it. I'm just going to stay home. I sat at home and wrote the original version of Big Trouble. I was right when the original musical arrangement that I went through and wrote lyrics to at a later date. Let's change.
How long did that take you to write?
Which part? The lyrics or the music? Because I don't tend to do them together.
Right. I kind of figured that because most people just going ahead, they write either the music first or they write the lyrics last, or they write the lyrics first and then they write the music last. So what's your process when you're going through it?
Okay, it's crazy. I write the lyric. No, I'm sorry. I write the music, then I write the lyrics. That means I have to rewrite the music, and then after I do that, I rewrite the lyrics. That's pretty much how it goes because it's kind of like drafting. Like I got a rough draft, and then okay, now I put some lyrics together, but I have a different. I can like I don't. It doesn't bother me to write something that doesn't match the music because I can hear like, oh no, I'm changing that. I want this chord to be different for the chorus, so I'm gonna change that and go through it, and then it just it's like I said, that's the process for me. But the lyrics for Big Trouble, I think I had. Oh, I definitely had nothing, and I was driving
the car.
I drove all the way to Wisconsin from Mobile, Alabama. It was like 1,100 miles, I think, to work my destination, and 13-hour. I don't remember how many hours. Maybe it was more than that. But anyways, I stopped in a hotel, halfway through, and so it took me 2 days of driving to get there. Got there, and I only listened to my demo that I had written the music to the whole way there. There was a problem with it musically that really hindered me writing the lyrics, and so I was in the studio parking lot waiting on the producer to get there, and I had one of the other songs I was recording. So we already did record more than Big Trouble. It's just not we're not ready to get to that one yet. But so I started by recording that song, and it's called "You Got Me." It'll be coming out soon.
Okay.
And I was basically, I was like, I don't have anything. I don't have Big Troubles. And we had the title, but I didn't know what it was. And so I finally, it just clicked in the parking lot. Like this is the last day. I have to finish it today, or I go home empty-handed with one song, and I'm supposed to be finishing 3. So I only got 2. But that's better than none.
Exactly. Think of the glass half empty kind of thing, right?
Exactly.
But how did you and Landon meet up though? When you're looking for a bassist and you're wondering, okay, how is this going to work? I'm by myself now. I'm writing my songs. It's just me. Am I going to be a solo artist, or am I going to go ahead and still continue with Wildfire? What's the deal?
I would think you should tell him how we met, and I'm curious if you're going to tell the same story we always tell.
Are we going way back?
Oh, we're going way back. Yes, how we met.
Yeah, so I met Zach when we were probably 12 years old, I think. Our first conversation was about I was really into a band called Good Charlotte at the time, and I was under the impression that Good Charlotte was punk rock. So I met Zach, and one of our first conversations was Zach passionately explaining to me that Good Charlotte was not punk rock. And after that, a weird friendship happened, and we've been friends ever since. So I'm the last joining member.
But you were in my first band.
Oh yeah. We were in the first band that we ever played.
We had a lot of names for that band. Translucent,
Thrills for the Innocent. I don't think none of those ever stuck.
Right? No. We changed it like every week. It was like fun. It became a joke. My family would call me like, hey, what's the name of the band this week? Because it was constantly, it was like it was never the same. So like, ha. Did you rename the band yet? No.
I can see people trying to book you guys. Okay, so what are you guys? And all of a sudden on the drum set, it's a different name than what they booked you for. It's like, I can see what the hell's going on over here.
That happened at Wildfire's first show, though. It was the day Villain was released. I'll never forget. Remember the 5th of November, 2015. Okay. That was the day that we decided we were not going to be Catharsis anymore. We released a song under the title Wildfire. And when we got to the show, the billboard said Catharsis, and Wildfire played the show instead.
That's hilarious.
It was exactly the same show with one new song, but we had decided to change the band name.
I think Wildfire works out better, to be honest with you. It just has that tip of the tongue type of thing versus Catharsis. I think that Wildfire is a lot smoother going in, to be honest.
See that? Okay, so and I agree, and that's where we came from changing the name because people couldn't say it right. We had a single from Catharsis on FM radio, but I'm telling you, if you knew how to spell it, you'd find us every time, and you wouldn't find anything but content related to us. I mean, try Googling a Wildfire, bro. You know, we're gonna be down that page a while unless you put in a song title with it.
Or band, or Wildfire band. Right.
And yeah, and then there's these little girls from Texas. They're not little girls anymore. I've been saying this for 7 years. They're like I think they're 22. They're calling themselves Wildfire. We've never messed with them about it, even though we've been out doing it for not a lot longer, but we were on the scene for a couple years before they came out. And I think they just intended to just like smother us by getting views and stuff or something, but they didn't count on our song Villain getting 30 million streams across YouTube.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Because what I did was, whenever I first heard you at Crest Live and everything, I told my friend Rick, because I also help out with a Joker page on Facebook as well. Uh-huh. And I told Rick, I said, dude, you need to hear Wildfire. He goes, what's that? I said, that's an indie band that you need to take a look at. So I sent him the lyric video for Villain. He fell in love with it because he's a huge Joker fan, but I know the song itself is not about the Joker itself, and I know how you got the idea of that because of Megamind. Because of Megamind. And so
I think I said that on the last podcast, didn't I? We talked about it.
It's amazing that I remember that far back, though.
No one has a clue that I really wrote the song about Will Ferrell.
Could you imagine meeting him, though, in real life? I wrote a song about you. What?
Villain. Well, about a character he played, but still.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. The song in the writing process, sometimes it takes shape with an idea, and then it just kind of evolves. Sometimes I relook at what I'm looking at and I go, this is what I wrote it about, but now looking at it, it really feels like something else. Yeah. And then I kind of probably finished writing the last couple lines in a way that filled it in and made it very Joker-ish, I guess. Because I felt that theme in it too, but that's just not how I got there.
But my favorite lyric, though, with the chorus for this song, though, for Big Trouble is, don't know if I'm insane, but there might be a screw loose in my brain. Hey, shout it out if you feel the same way. I'm out of my mind. It's okay because I'm having a great time. Hey, shout it out if you feel the same way. That's actually one of my favorite lyrics. And the chorus is actually one of my favorite lyrics in this thing. And of course, I smashed my favorite guitar because I lost all my picks. I like that one, too, though.
I wrote that about him. So I wrote it about all the crazy people in my life, including myself, and some of, it's all the closest people to me over the last 10 or 15 years. You're all there some way or another. But when we were kids, you used to break your skateboard.
I had a bit of an anger problem when I was younger when it came to a skateboard, for sure.
Now he breaks his bases and it's like thousands of dollars.
I keep losing all my picks, man.
We're in debt up to our eyeballs for new bass guitars.
Sweet. Here's the thing, though. I used to play guitar and everything back in high school, though, too. We were going to actually be called Twisted Illusions, was going to be our band.
Okay.
And it was going to be like this heavy kind of Led Zeppelin kind of vibe mixed with a little bit of Metallica, mixed with Ozzy a little. And, then all of a sudden I was like, you know what? I don't want to do this. I'm like, we didn't even start yet. I have my guitar and everything. So I just started doing my own thing. But I also skateboarded. I had a zero board. I could actually relate to y'all, though, in a big way with that. With breaking the skateboards and things like that. I still have my guitar still. And sometimes I'll strum on it, but not as much as I used to. But this is pretty much my passion project right here. I just like to talk shit. That's it. That's my talent.
Yeah,
Right.
We're the best at that. I'll tell you about it.
But
when I think of something.
But you know what, though, guys? I mean, you guys are really great at what you guys are doing. You guys
Appreciate it.
you're very welcome, because seriously, I can feel the passion in your songs and your lyrics and stuff like that, and especially how you guys take your time to develop the song, and it's just not rushed out there, because sometimes I can actually tell if a song is rushed,
Right.
things like that, especially an album that I've been waiting on, and I'm like, what the hell? This is just not what I was expecting.
And that's always a disappointment. That's one we want to avoid. And we know
Right.
that we also know that people have been begging and waiting for a long time for us to put out something that's not acoustic, and heavy. They want the heavy back. And I guess in some ways I can see how like our career over 10 years seemed like it just got lighter and lighter and lighter. But we're gonna fix that one soon. We're working on some stuff, and that's coming. Ultimately, we're in new Wildfire. We have new guitar players and everything. Everything's new now. It's a different sound. We like it.
Well,
That's great, man.
Thank you.
But in case anybody's wondering, though, if you guys want to listen to the audio podcast tomorrow morning, I'm going to be putting in their song Big Trouble. I'm not going to play it on YouTube because YouTube will probably wind up banning me or something like that, because I remember I was trying to do a Stranger Things reaction to the first 8 minutes, and they cut my stream off.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, this sucks. I'm like, really?
Yeah, maybe you could throw a link in the comments for the subscribers and listeners to check out the video.
Yeah, I'll do that right now.
Oh, cool.
Yep. Because I was actually listening to your song before.
I don't want them to leave the live stream.
No. It's a 2-for-1. They'll come back to it if they want to. But still, dude, I'm really thrilled for what you guys have in store for us as fans, and also too the passion that you guys have with what you guys are doing. You guys are gonna be rocking out until you guys are old. I'm not like old and gray. I'm just gonna say that.
I mean, I'm older than you think. I'm halfway there at least.
But I'm 37, so there you go.
I'm just joking. I'm not that old, but
gee, thanks. Now I'm ancient with a few cracks, and now I'm haunted.
Off you. I'm 33 this year.
Oh. I lost the sound. It's all right. A little technical difficulty. This is what happens on live stream sometimes. It's all right. There you go.
What happened?
I don't know. All of a sudden, it just winded up just cutting down. It's like, okay, it's pretty much StreamYard just like, you know what? We talked enough. That's it. I'm done.
It's not as bad as last time when the call just got dropped and we were on Anchor app and like there was no way to log back in. Oh wait, no, we did. We just had to make a whole nother podcast, a part 2.
Right. As a matter of fact, I named it part 1, but you never came back for part 2. So at least because I'm like,
this one's part 2.
Right. Because I was like, Zach, and that's like the end. This is before I learned how to edit. So basically, at the very end, you can hear me say Zach, and then all of a sudden it just cuts off.
Figure it out. I was trying to figure it out. Yeah, it was crazy.
To be honest with you, Anchor is a good platform if you're just starting out with podcasting with your phone, but it's horrible with distortion and everything else. I'm so glad that I'm not sitting in 100 degrees in my car sweating my balls off anymore. And now I have this setup. So I'm much happier than where I was back when I was first starting out.
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
Oh yeah, that was
Thanks.
just an audio. That was audio, and it was one of your I don't know exactly what number episode it was, but it was one of your first ones, I think.
I was probably like 4, maybe 5, somewhere in that area, because
Really?
I actually interviewed an indie director from Alabama right after you.
Mhm.
And then after that, it just started picking up with the audio only stuff. And then I converted this into video a year later.
Yeah. So you've been doing the video thing for a couple of years now.
About a year, to be honest with you. By now, the audio podcast is going to be turning 4 years old in July. So I've been doing this for about 4 years, trying to get everything up.
Yeah, I know. You told me it had been over 3 years since our last one, and I was like, what? I didn't. Wow.
Yep.
Time go.
COVID really, I don't know. I feel like I'm just now counting time again. Like all that just never happened.
Right?
But
Because
it was
even with
here.
COVID,
Good boy.
well, get this though, even with COVID, 2019 in July, I started the podcast. And then I'm doing movie news. I'm doing new reviews. And then all of a sudden COVID happens. I'm like, now I have to reprogram myself and be like, okay, what can I do now that there's no news? What can I do now since there's no movie reviews coming out? So what do? I go ahead, go back to my old catalog of movies and start reviewing old films. And then I reviewed Tiger King for some godly reason. And then I reviewed all 4 Twilight movies and did a 3-hour-long podcast of me ranting. So, so it's all fun though. I enjoyed the progress of where I'm at now, and also too, I know how to edit my audio stuff and my video stuff now. So, I'm just now starting to do the video stuff because it's been about a month now since I started doing my own video editing. With Moon Knight was my first experience with that, and staying up to 1:00 in the morning to edit.
Oh, I love Moon Knight.
Moon Knight was awesome.
It was so cool. Yeah, I dug it. I watch everything, but I forget it. If I don't watch it, like I had to watch Big Trouble today. Big Trouble in Little China. I watched it today. I tried watching it a couple days ago. I've been trying to watch it for a week, for real. And then finally my kid went home this afternoon. We watched it all again. But if ask me about it next week, and I won't be able to remember Jack Burton's name anymore.
That's how I am though with most stuff though too, because I have a horrible memory now. Like I tell my co-host Charlie, who's like he's 20 something years old, I was like, I envy you. He goes, why? I said, you have a memory of all these quotes and everything, and I can't remember my name half the time now.
Yeah. I mean, what's worse is watching Netflix. I get to like the climax of a movie, and that's when I realize I've seen it because I know what's about to happen, and then I know like exactly the scene. Like this is gonna do this, but I don't actually remember it.
Right.
Just like ruin.
But what do you got?
Itself.
But what are you guys watching now, anyways? I mean, are you guys watching any TV shows or anything like that, or just movies in general?
We're wanting to get
wanting to get into Stranger Things, the new season. I watched the first episode and I'm liking it so far. That they kind of taken it to a little bit of a different direction, but that, and then we watched that documentary called Our Father.
Yeah, I'm just pissed Billy's not in Stranger
Well, there's
Things.
like a new Billy, but
I don't want the new Billy. I want the old Billy. Billy was my favorite.
Billy's gone.
First eyes.
But yeah, I binge watched all of Stranger Things so that way I could do the review for last night.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing Russian accents and stoner accent impressions last night. But yeah, I went on ahead, talked about the new Stranger Things season. To be honest with you, it's actually hard for me to watch a TV show and be invested into a TV show because it has to hold my attention. And if that attention's not there, you're just going to lose me within the first episode or whatever if it doesn't hold me. Now, with Tokyo Vice, I wound up loving that show, and I watched 2 episodes of it so far. And then the new Obi-Wan TV show just came out, and I liked the first 2 episodes from that.
Tokyo Vice? Where is that at? Where do you watch Tokyo Vice?
HBO Max.
Okay, I haven't heard of that yet.
Yeah, I'll give you a little bit of a breakdown on what it's about, and maybe it might be something that you're interested in. But the actor from Baby Driver's in it, and he's a great actor. And basically, it takes place in 1999, and he's in Tokyo to become a news reporter because he doesn't want to live in Kansas or anything where he's from. So basically, he winds up taking this test. He winds up not answering 3 of his questions, but he still winds up getting the job. And everybody looks at him as an outsider. They call him a foreigner rather than calling him, respecting him or anything like that. And also, too, in Japanese, the way that the police, it also deals with the Yakuza. It also deals with the Japanese Yakuza. And then, of course, within police reports themselves, the news reporters can't say, someone died today because they got stabbed 6 times. In order for them to report that, it has to be sealed in the document that the police officer put into it. So let's say, for instance, there's stab wounds. All he can say is there was multiple stab wounds. That was it. They can't say the person died or anything unless it's in the police report itself.
Oh.
So he gets in trouble for that. It's really a good, deep show. It's a slow burn, but it's well worth it.
Okay.
Sounds cool.
I'll check it out, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you just finished watching Righteous Gemstones.
How is that? I didn't see that one.
Depends on who you ask, I'm sure. I thought it was amazing. It had John Goodman and Danny McBride. A lot of good, really funny people were in that show. But it's about this Christian family who has a mega church and a television show and all that, and they're just corrupt, and it's really funny, and it hits home unbelievably well, just from what I've seen and experienced in some ways, for real.
Right.
I've seen churches that operate like that, and you have to see it. It's amazing. It's got to be Danny McBride's best stuff I've ever seen, and I'm a fan for sure.
All right. Well, guys, that's going to be it as far as the show goes and everything. I do appreciate you guys talking for an hour of just us talking about talking about Big Trouble in Little China, just shooting the shit. It was fun. It was also nice meeting you, Landon. I just wanted to say that too.
Yeah, you as well, man. You as well, John.
Yeah, great to see you again, John.
Great seeing you too. Don't be a stranger or anything. Don't be 5 years later where it's like
we're part 3 now.
Right.
We'll get back on soon. I also wanted to ask you how you felt about dual posting this on our YouTube channel as well.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll send you out.
I have to ask this question.
How about this? We'll just end it right here, and I'll tell you yay or nay. How about that? Okay, so guys, that's gonna do it for me for tonight. I hope you guys have a great and safe night. Don't forget, tomorrow night is our Obi-Wan Season 1 Episode 3 review. I'm gonna have my co-host Alex back again. He's gonna be on here with me, of course. Then I also have some other guests coming on, so it's going to be, independent director Clinton Robinson is going to be with me. So go ahead and join us at 9 o'clock Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern, and 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific Time for that. And always, until next time, guys, it's been real, it's been fun, and have a good day.